Hi everybody. So I got up this morning and I thought, I know, I'm going to do a new video for everybody for YouTube using the chalk paints because I've not used them for a few weeks and I absolutely adore the chalk paints. So I thought, let's try and show you a different way to use them. So we are going to use them to paint the flowers, as the name of the video suggests. But I'm going to show you how you can use two colours on top of each other to create really pretty flowery effects. I've got all my bits cut out. I'm going to try and be quicker than usual with this video. So instead of being an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm going to try and do this in under an hour. I've got all my bits cut out already, and really the aim of this is to show you A, how fabulous the chalk paints are, and B, just a couple of different ways you can use them to add colour. So this is a really teeny tiny card for me. It's a 7x7, which for those of you that know me will know that I rarely do 7x7s or anything smaller than that, very rarely. And I wanted to do a relatively easy card. The only time really is in the die cutting. I've got quite a few dies on here, which I will go through with you when I get to that stage. And I've already got the first layer on my card. So this is a little 7x7. It's a proper card, I know, as well, which is unusual. And I've popped the first layer on, as always, with foam tape. And I've just gone around the edge with my glue and my Diamond Dazzle glitter. It's obligatory Diamond Dazzle, as you know. So let's just pop that to one side because that's just, I don't need that just yet. We're going to quickly run through all the bits that I've got die cut here. Now you don't have to use as much as I've got. You know me, I'm not very good at less is more. I've tried to be, but sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't, and I guess we're all like that as crafters. It just depends what mood you're in. So let's put this in order and show you what I've got cut, because then it will make more sense for you. So I've got a couple of my shabby flower dies, and I'm going to show you them closer in a second. I'm just putting them in some sort of order. And if you look at what I'm moving here, these are all the small flowers from the die sets. Just for a change, because I'm going to show you actually. Let's go through them. So let's start from the top of the die, because I always like to show you what I'm using. I'm very aware that people like to copy my cards, and I absolutely love it when you do. So if you do have a go at this card, just remember to tag me in it. So Phill, Martin, or Sentimentally, or just use the hashtags, whether you're putting that on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or even Pinterest. So I'm going to go through the list of dies that I've got here, just so you know what I'm using. So we've got the Best Wishes Sentiment Edger, which is one of the new dies for this year. So these were only released in March. And for those of you that have seen them before, you'll know what I'm going to say. But for those of you that haven't seen them, this is what you get with the die cuts. So you actually get 4 dies. You get an 8-inch version and you get a 6-inch version. Both in the same beautiful font. So you've got that really delicate Best Wishes, and then you have the drop shadow. And I will show you, we're going to change the colour of this with the chalk paints, and I will show you how to do that and how to line them up to get them one layer on top of the other. And they're just absolutely amazing. These are the dies that I absolutely love. They took a long time to get right because of how intricate they are, but they're absolutely worth it. So you will get them, as always. I've got mine on an A5 magnetic storage sheet, just because that's what size tubs I use, but you will get yours on a DL, so you can see with the packaging look. So this is the insert file from the DL die set. I've just stuck it on the back of my magnetic sheet so I know which dies should be in, and you can see they fit lovely. So storage is sorted. So you've got your Best Wishes Sentiment Edge die there. And on here, when I find my tweezers, here we go. Can't craft without my tweezers, as you know. So on here, we've got the shabby, I've got daisies first, so I'll show you the shabby daisies first. So I've got the shabby daisy dies. So the shabby die collection is the one that has the tattered edges. So it's already done and shabbied before you even do anything with it. And I'll try and show you this one more closely in a second. So you've got here 9 dies going all the way up from a 9cm flower down to a teeny tiny 2cm flower. And I always do this with my flower dies. I always give you the larger down to the smaller, because sometimes you need a big flower. I mean, you imagine that curled up, it would look like a chrysanthemum. So just curl that up, curl it up, layer it up, and it would look like a chrysanthemum. So largest down to the smallest, 9 dies, and these do come on an A5 magnetic storage sheet. I love daisies. It's one of those flowers that we use constantly as crafters. So I'm just going to try and show you this in a little bit more detail. There you go. So you can see that lovely tatty edge that you've got on there, and you've also got the debossed lines. So debossing is something that I love. I love debossing detail on my dies. So instead of it being embossed as normal dies are, mine are debossed, and that's what all those beautiful lines are in the middle of these dies. And that happens in one pass. So you cut these on whatever machine you're using, manual, electric, it doesn't matter. Cut these in one pass and you will get that debossing detail in the same pass. You don't have to go back with a rubber mat or anything. It does it all in one go. So they are the shabby daisies. I'm using 2 flowers today. I quite often like to use a combination of foliage. And then we've got the shabby star flowers. So again, still 9. Still on an A5 magnetic storage sheet. Still with the debossing detail. And this one goes from... well, these are slightly different sizes. So you've got 83mm as your big one, so 8.3 centimeters, down to 2.3. And I'm going to show you one of these done. Look how beautiful these are. Look at the... oh, I love these flowers. That beautiful debossing detail is just amazing. And it even happens on the teeny tiny flowers. Let me put that on my hand because it seems to focus better. Look at that. How beautiful is that? So that is the shabby star flowers. I'll try and be quick with this because I know you want me to get to the demo. I've got my coffee, as always, so I'm going to get a drink before my voice goes again. As it always does. So they are the 2 flowers that I'm using. And then for the foliage, we've got the fern leaves. So I love the fern leaves. I love all my foliage dies. Essential. Anybody that knows me knows that floral, pretty, and foliage with flowers is kind of my thing. So you've got 4. These again come on a DL magnetic sheet. I've got mine on a A5, but you will get them with a DL. And look at the detail in them. Aren't they just stunning? Now I've got 2 different sizes in here. I've got the large one, which is just over 10 centimeters tall, and the small one, which is just over 8 centimeters tall. And I did that on purpose, and these are really, really snippable, which is what I'm going to do today. I'm not going to use these in full. I'm going to use sections of them. So that is the fern leaves. And then the last die I've got... oh no, I've got another one. I've got to get the die sheet for that. Apologies, but I'll tell you what it is. And then the last one, I always forget I've got these, and I love them. These are my splendid swirls. I honestly don't know if we've got any of these left because they're a couple of years old. But I love these. Again, you're going to get 2, and these are 14 centimeters tall by 6 centimeters wide. And if you look, there is so much snippability in these. So you can snip it there, you can snip it there, you can snip it there, you can snip it there. So many different places. Even there, look, even there. So lots of different ways you can snip into that, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, so that's the die cut. The embossing folder I've used here is, believe it or not, this is my striped elegance, which is this one. So because I'm only using a panel, a little panel with the embossing detail on it, I then could do the top half, or I could do the bottom half. So you could have it striped, or you could have it just with the 3 little dots, or you could have it literally with the center of the swag there. So that is the beaded swags. And then the last die I need to show you, and then I can get on with this, is the new from this year debossed double stitched squares, which is a full A4 set. Put it the right way around. So this is stitched on the inside and the outside of the die cut, which then means you can create frames with them, with the stitching detail on the inside and the outside. Square dies for me are an absolute must-have, because you know you're going to use them constantly. And the fact that we've got that gorgeous debossing double stitch, I call it Morse code, means that you can create so many different sized frames with them. So that is all my die cutting done and explained. So apart from this, which is one of my butterflies from the Beautiful Butterflies die set. I will put links for everything in the description, so it's easier for you to go and find things. And we're going to start with the flowers. So let's pop that over there. And the chalk paints, because we need to paint these flowers first. So for those of you that haven't seen my chalk paints, these are relatively new. And there are currently 15, so I released these last year, these first 15, and there are 15 more colours coming soon. I absolutely love the chalk effect finish. I just love it. It's very elegant, it's very classy, and it's very, very beautiful. And what you've got here is a selection of 15 colours. I'm going to go with blues and greens today. I know, just for a change. So instead of doing florals in the traditional lilac and pink, I'm going to go for blues. So these are the 15 colours that are currently available. I do sell these in sets of 5, or you can buy the whole set, and they last for ages. So let's choose some colours today. So let's do oh, too many choices. I'm definitely doing blue and green. Let's go with that one, which is ocean teal, soft pistachio, obviously olive. I'll show you these in more detail. So I'm going to do my flowers in these 2 colours. I'm going to take that as well, just in case. That's summer skies. And then for the centre of the flowers, because I'm going to do something I've not done on a demo yet, and that is colour the centre of the flowers. So I'm going to use the pumpkin, Perfectly Pumpkin. And I'm also going to use Custard Slice, which is the yellowy colour. So I'll pop these to one side because we don't need those now. Do it the right way. You can see how easy it is to do the card that I'm going to do today. You can see how easy it would be to change the colour scheme. You could do lilacs, you could do pink and lilac, you could do pink and blue, you could do brown and pink, brown and blue, red and pink, whatever you want. Turn that over, keep them the right way up. So just in case you don't know this, the labels on my chalk paints are different to my metallic paints. So you have a black band there telling you it's a chalky acrylic paint, and these are not just normal regular grade chalk paints. These are artist quality, and these are acrylic paints. So these are chalky acrylic paints, which is kind of contradicting itself, because you don't normally get a chalky effect paint in the acrylic format, which for us as card makers, as crafters, means you've got so many different ways to use these. I'm just grabbing I'm going to reuse some kitchen roll that I've already started. So we're going to paint these flowers, and I'm going to stick with I'm going to keep the summer skies to one side just in case I decide to add any blue. But the flowers are going to be ocean teal and soft pistachio. So I'm going to do the daisies in ocean teal maybe, and the star flowers in soft pistachio. So I'm keeping them separate colours, and this is the easiest thing in the world. If you've ever wanted to have a go at using paints and stuff in your card making, and you've been a little bit intimidated by it, please don't. And I can honestly say that the chalk paints are really, really easy to use. You can paint these directly onto grey board, MDF, cardstock, obviously, metal, because it's acrylic. You can paint it onto metal, but chipboard, also just about anything you can think of, even non-porous like glass. You can even paint these onto glass. You probably need a few coats, but you can definitely paint these onto glass. Right, so here we go. I'm going to get a baby wipe before I start, because I don't do messy fingers. Right, so I'm going to use just some paint from the lid and we're going to water this down. So if you paint this direct, if you were using grey board, for example, in fact, let me see if I can find a little bit of grey board. I've usually got something knocking about on my desk. Let's have a look. Bear with me. I've usually got a heart or something knocking around. Oh, there we go. How about that? Honestly, that wasn't planned. It's just that I know I've always got bits of grey board lying around. So I'm going to paint this direct and just show you the colours and how intense the colours are. So this piece of grey board needed one coat. And I'm going to pop that to one side. That's just one coat. And I'm going to pop that to one side and let that dry while we're doing our other jobs. But we're going to water this down. So it's going to be a lovely, it's not going to be a water effect. It's not like watercolour pens or using distress inks or anything. We're still going to get a very solid chalk effect, but I want to water it down because these paints are very, very highly pigmented. So you only need a tiny bit, and I'm colouring the whole flower. I mean, look, you can see how much paint I've created just from, well, the bit that was already on this brush. I'm going to put a bit more in. So as a general rule of thumb and a top tip for you, the more water you add, the more translucent this will look. And so that is actually the perfect consistency. And I've not even used it from the pot. I've only used it from the lid. And I'm literally going to paint over this. So we'll get a lovely watercolour effect, but not in the traditional sense. We're going to get a chalky finish from this. And this is why I love the debossing on my flowers. I'm too excited. I'm just going to show you this. So if I just bring this in while it's still wet, look, you can see that the paint is staying in the recessed areas of the debossing detail. Love that. Love, love, love it. So let's get some paint on there. So we've got watercolour effect going on, but it will be chalky when we've finished, which I think is really quite fabulous. No skill required, just paint the flowers. Doesn't matter whether you do it from the inside or the outside. Obviously, the more colour you put on, the stronger the colour's going to be when it's finished. I don't want it too strong, which is why I mixed it with water. But this colour is fabulous. Get a bit more going on here. I just need a little bit more to finish that flower. Oops, not enough water in that one. Told you this was easy. And already they look beautiful. We've completely transformed plain white cardstock with a couple of strokes of a brush and one colour of chalk paint. So I'm going to pop these to one side and let them dry. I'll leave that there because I'm going to use it in a second. I'm going to pop that to one side and let them dry. That one's just a bit too watery. Let me just thicken it up a bit. That's better. So I'm just going to pop these in my little inky box. We're doing no splatting today. I'm going to wipe that up because I've done with the watery one. I'm going to clean my brush. And we're going to repeat that process with the soft pistachio. I'm leaving that there because I'm going to use it in a second. And I love this colour. These two colours together are going to be really classy. Oh, look at that. How beautiful is that green? So we're going to repeat that with the daisies. This is probably going to be one of the quickest demos I've ever done for you. And we need to do this bit first because we're going to add a stamen like a two-tone effect in the middle. So pistachio, that's not water, that's from the wipe. That's naughty, Phil. I should have dried that first. So let's just mix some paint up. And again, the more water you add, the more translucent it will be. And I want it watery, but not too watery. Just because, just because I can. I need a little bit more paint in that. That's too, there we go. This colour is beautiful. All the colours are. And remember everybody, just a little heads up, because if what happens last year happens this year, as soon as we get to starting our you know what cards for December, the reds are always really popular. And we struggled to get extra stock last year, so I'm just giving you a heads up. So let's just paint these. No skill required. It's literally a bit of water and a bit of paint. Anybody can do this. And if it looks too pale, by the time you get to the end, which is what I'm doing, you can see, look, literally that's how much paint I'm using at a time. Nobody wants to waste the paint. That's better. I can see my brush is getting dry. And these dry really quickly. So 5-10 minutes, these will be bone dry and ready for us to put the next coat on. See if I can scrape enough together for that small flower. And I can just, I'm doing no splats or anything on these. These are going to be, this is going to be a really pretty, simple card. Look at that colour. How beautiful is that colour? And I love where it sits in the recessed bits from the debossing. So I'm going to pop these to one side as well and let them dry naturally. I'm going to clean up the mess from here, and this time I will dry it. And we're now going to come to the sentiment dye, because I want the sentiment to match. Did I clean my brush? Yes, I did. Did I not? I'll do it again just in case. And I am swizzing that in my jar of water, not my coffee. Don't panic. So we're now going to come to the sentiment, because I want the sentiment to match. Just rubbing another bit of second-hand kitchen roll. The kitchen roll I can reuse, I always do. And we're now going to come to the sentiment, and we're going to make this this best wishes coordinate with the rest of the card. So I'm not going to do anything with the shadow. I'm going to leave that plain white. But let me show you this now, look. Oh, that's dry. That's dry. One coat on grey board. How fabulous is that? I might use that now I've painted it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make this best wishes match. And I'm moving to my stipple brush, which I am going to use for the centre of the flowers as well. So this is just a little, well, this is an old one. It's absolutely battered. And I'm going to go in direct. So when you do this kind of thing, always do your light colour first. So I'm going in direct with the paint this time, not watering it down. I'm going to take off the excess and I'm just going to stipple that. So we'll end up with a lovely two-toned look with the two colours of the flowers. So I'm not going everywhere. This is why I love these paints. We're using them on cardstock, which is, it's just unheard of. It's not even watercolour card. This is just my regular pure white cardstock. So that's what we've got now, look. Looks like mossy. I'm going to clean my brush because I don't want to contaminate my paints. There we go. Just taking the excess water off. It's got a touch of green left in it, but it'll be fine. Just remember not to go into your pots with a contaminated brush. And now we're going to do the same with the teal. And I always do the lighter colour first and then the darker colour after. And then if you want to blend them together again, go back in with the lighter colour. But I'm going for this lovely, I'm not trying to cover all the white up either. That's beautiful. That's fabulous. I'll bring it in and show you. And I probably will, knowing me, add a little bit more of the soft pistachio. You won't believe, I'm going to show you the water in a minute, because you wouldn't believe how much colour there is in the water just from that teeny tiny bit of paint I've used. Let me show you. Look, that's just from those two colours. That's how strong these paints are. You can water them down such a lot. I'm just going to add a little bit more of the pistachio, just because I want it a little bit softer in some areas. You can do it as little or as much as you like. There we go. And just in case you didn't know, on my channel already there is a video of me showing you how to create rust effects using these chalk paints in conjunction with a couple of my metallic paints. That's better. It's just softening the teal a little bit. So you can now make all your cogs and everything rusty, well, your flowers as well if you want rusty. So clean that brush. Don't leave your stipple brushes in your jar of water, because although we want them stipply at the edges, it ruins them. So just dry off the excess water and leave it to dry flat. So now let me show you what that looks like, because you're going to love it. It's like a speckled sentiment. Oh, that is just so pretty. Look at that. And we've done that just from plain white cardstock. So I'm going to leave that up there to dry. I'm going to see if my flowers are dry. Actually, no, we're not. While we wait, we'll just give them a little bit longer, and we'll do the fern leaves. So the fern leaves are also going to be painted. And I'm literally just going to do halfway down, because I know I'm not going to use the full leaf. And this time I'm going with the olive, which is darker, and I'm going to do the olive direct, so I'm not watering down the olive. You know what I've got to do to that? I'll stipple it. I'll use the stipple brush. It doesn't matter what kind of brush you use, really. So I'm going in with the olive. So the colour tone for this card is the blues and the greens. And I'm just going to go down halfway. Yes, you could use green cardstock, but no, from cardstock you won't get that lovely chalky finish. And that is the whole point of this. I am covering this, and I'm just going halfway down. And with stippling you get the lovely variegation in the colour. So we've got some lighter shades, some darker tones, all from the same colour. And then the last one, you see I'm just taking the excess off there, and I'm still only using what's in the lid. In fact, I think I've only used the paint in the pots a few times, and that's when I've done larger areas, like for grey board, etc. Right, clean that. We can leave those to dry now, you see. Just remember, top tip everybody, if you're painting on kitchen roll and you're stippling like I've just done, just remember to lift them up, because the paint will dry. The paint will dry into the kitchen roll. Let me show you these leaves now, look. Aren't they just beautiful? And that will dry with the same chalk effect. So put them to one side, and now we can check our flowers. Where did that bit? Here it is. I am not doing bad. That's half an hour, so I might be able to get this done in under an hour. That'll be a treat, won't it? So you could literally make a coffee and sit and do this card in half an hour, well, an hour. Once your die cutting's done. Right, let's come back to these. Oh, they're not quite dry yet, so 5 more minutes. I'm going to show you these though. How beautiful is this colour? And you can see that you can see the chalky effect we're going to get from these. It's not like an ink pad. Hopefully you can see that on the screen. This is a proper chalk. It's like chalk paint that you buy for your furniture. We're getting a lovely chalk paint, a watercoloured chalk paint finish. So the small ones are dry, it's just the large one that's just a little bit damp. So I'm going to leave it a little bit longer because I do want to do the centre of those. So while we're waiting for that, we'll come to the sentiment because I know that that will be dry enough to stick. So just bear in mind when you're painting onto the delicate sentiments, it might warp it a little bit because we've added a liquid. Absolutely no problem because we're going to stick it in position now anyway. So that's some glue I've obviously not cleaned up from last time doing this. So as ever, if you have a fine tip glue thing, you can just put some blobs on the back. I prefer to do it this way because I know I'm going to get a decent coverage of glue on the lacy decorative sentiment. Just get rid of that. So I'm literally dabbing that in the glue that's on my mat. Drag it through. Pay attention on the W's because the W's have got that lovely big flick. That lovely big curl there. Which you will need to stick down as well. And I think that's probably enough glue. Remember, my glue dries clear anyway, so it doesn't matter. So, as ever with these, for those of you that have never heard me, never seen me do this before, and you look at them as a crafter and you think, crikey, they're very delicate, how do you line them up? So, all I'm going to say to you is, whichever sentiment, and there are currently 12, there are 12 sentiment edges in different sentiments. So it doesn't matter which one it is. Just choose one of the words, line up the word. So I'm lining up best, look. And I'm going to stick best in position. And now everything else will fall into place. This looks beautiful. I'm just going to do the end of this. Oh, that is so pretty. And then the W, look, because the W is actually the trickiest. So once you, well, that's how easy it is. But because the W is very curly, oh, I need to show you this. Let me just get a bit of darker card. Oh, I can't do it on that. Just bear with me while I grab a sheet of black card, because I want you to see this. I want you to see how easy it is to create your sentiment to perfectly coordinate with your flowers. Look how beautiful that is. And look how beautiful it fits in the shadow dye as well. I mean, that is just, I mean, I've been crafting for years and I love that. I love the fact that we can take a really intricate die cut like that, change the colour of it to match the flowers or whatever it is you've got on your project with a couple of paints, and a couple of paints you wouldn't think you would normally use with cardstock, and we're going to get that fabulous chalk finish. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Right, so now we're going to come to the sentiment, and the sentiment is going to be stuck on the side of this panel here. So I'm just going to glue along the edge, and this is why I didn't stick this first. I'm going to glue along the edge, the long edge, obviously, and we're going to pop this sentiment in place. So I'm using the edge of the card, the edge of the embossed piece. I'll try and show you in a second. So the edge of the embossed piece is lining up with the top of the border, the shadow border. I've got to put it down because I can't hold it and press it at the same time while it's in midair. There we go. Put that down a little bit. Sorted. That looks fabulous. That looks absolutely fabulous. Look at that. And that's going to sit like that on our card. So just pop that to one side and let that dry. I've got a couple of millimeters over the edge on both sides. So I am going to snip that off, but not until it's dried. I don't know whether you can see from the camera that that finish is chalky. It looks like moss. It's fabulous. It's beautiful. So pop that to one side. So while we're waiting for that, we're going to stamp a little sentiment. Hey, we might do this in less than an hour. Boom. So the sentiment stamp. So I've got best wishes already. So best wishes is obviously my focal sentiment, but that's going to be tucked towards the left of this card. All the embellishments are going to be towards the bottom in the center. So I've got best wishes, and I just want to use one of these. So this is from, and I do believe you can buy these now individually. They were part of a box kit, a magazine box kit collection a few months ago, but you might be able to get these individually now on the website. So I'm going to choose Have a Great Day. So best wishes, have a great day, or best wishes with lots of love. No, I'm going to have a great day. I quite like that. And I'm going to do this on my platform, just in case, because these are mini sentiments, and they are teeny tiny mini sentiments. So I've just held this piece. This is just a strip from my matting and layering, and I'm going to stamp this sentiment towards this end so that I can tuck that bit underneath where my flowers are going. So have a great day. And this is just going to get stamped in black VersaFine Clear. Not VersaFine Clear, just VersaFine Onyx Black. So just pop that where we want it. Sorry, I'm just bringing it to me so I can line it up so that it's straight. That looks straight enough to me. Oh, well it was. Let's try that. Have a great day. So a little tip for you when you're stamping teeny tiny sentiments. So do little light taps. Don't bang the ink on, because you'll get it all over your platform. And don't press too hard. Literally just do a couple of rubs, look. And that's absolutely spot on. One of the biggest mistakes we all make as stampers is pressing too hard. And you don't need to of these. They are photopolymer. So the detail is in the stamp. And as ever, put it away when you're finished with it. And then you know where it is next time you need it. I'll show you that. Isn't that just lovely? Have a great day. So give that a second to dry. And we're going to come back to the flowers now. And they are sufficiently dry. Let's see if the daisies are. Look at these two colours together. Oh, they're just lovely. The daisies are almost dry. Almost. So by the time we've done the star flowers, the daisies should be ready. So just move them out of the way. So what we're going to do now is change the centre of these. You know I'm going to put a gem in them. I'll do it on this side. You know I'm going to put a gem in the centre of all of these. but I thought it would be nice to show you something we've not done before, which is use another colour on top. So I'm probably going to go with the pumpkin for the teal, because teal and orange always look lovely together. And we're just going to... oh, what did I do? I told you not to leave your brush, your stipple brush, in the jar. And what did I do? I left my stipple brush in the jar. Just make sure I can get all that green out. That's it, that's fine. So we're just going to use the stipple brush, and I'll give you a little tip here. I know that I'm going to come just a little bit further out from the centre of these flowers, but just in case you ever want to just be a bit more precise, if you get one of your gems, like I know that gem's going to go in the middle of there, you can see how far out you need to come. Yeah, it's entirely up to you how much, but I want a little bit more than what the gem space is. Pop them up there. So this time I'm not watering this down, but I'm going to use it quite lightly. So instead of dabbing the excess off onto my kitchen roll, because I can't reuse that, I'm going to dab it off onto there. And I'm literally going to hold that in place and dab over the top. And if you do it with a stipple brush, you can actually do it with your finger. But if you do it with a stipple brush, this is the effect you're going to get. Isn't that lovely? So we've now added pumpkin on top of... I'm just going to come out a bit further there. Pumpkin on top of teal. And the pumpkin is still pumpkin, which for me, I think is marvellous. So for the tiny ones, you probably only need to do a couple of dabs. Oh, that's lovely. Even after all these years, I still love this. And these two colours together are lush. So in the absence of a proper stamen, we've now given it... I'm just coming a little bit further. We've now given it... That's it. We've now given all of these flowers a lovely shaded centre. Look at that. Fabulous. So let's just clean the orange away. And then I'm going for the custard. That's me just trying to get the orange out of my brush. We're going to do the custard, well, most of the orange is out. I'm trying to take the water off as well, because if you leave the water, that's better. If you leave it too wet, you're watering down the paint, which we don't want to do for this. And this custard slice is beautiful. I love orange and lemon together anyway. So we've now got, yeah, they're dry, they're lovely. So let's just take that. I'm going to get a little bit of paint from there, put it in the lid. It looks like I've used everything that was in the lid. So take off the excess. That is so lovely. On these daisies, that is so beautiful. And I hope you're as impressed as I am, the fact that we're going on with a very pale colour, and you can still quite easily see the two shades of paint on these. I'm going to bring it in and show you closely in a second, but that looks fabulous. And custard slice is actually one of the lightest colours in the paints. Let me put it in my hand so you can see it better. I love this. I love it so much. Look at that. How fabulous is that? And how easy. You saw how easy that was to do. So we're just going to leave those for a second to dry. I think I've got glue on my tweezers. So I'll just pop them here for a second. It doesn't take long to dry, so if you're not watering down the paint, the chalk paints actually dry really quickly. It's only when you water them down they take longer, because you need to wait for the water to evaporate. Right, so while we're waiting for that, we're going to come to this card. So this little topper now, we need to trim off the ends. I know it's literally a couple of millimeters, but I'm a bit fussy, so I'm chopping them off. And this is why you have the 8-inch and the 6-inch option in these sentiment edges, because if you want to do a big card, you're covered. If you want to do a smaller card, you're covered as well. So I'm going to put some foam tape on the back of this. So we're going to do all the foam tapey jobs just to give that chalk paint a chance to dry. And this is a really, really easy card to do, and it would look fabulous in whatever colours you choose. So I've obviously chosen the teal and the pistachio for this card, but you get the full set of 15 of these chalk paints, and you can do whatever colours you like. So I am putting this on first before I put foam tape on the back of the stitched square. And I am going to put a little bit of glue on just to give me some time to wiggle if I need to. And we all need a wiggle on a Sunday. So I'm going to... Now I noticed when I did the die cutting for this, I'd got a dent in it somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. There's a little dent from a piece of... Can you see it just above my fingernail? So I'm going to cover that up. So I know this strip, this little embossed piece, is just short enough so that you can see the stitched edge on that die. Just trying to make sure that's straight. It's straight in my head. Yeah, that's it. Look how lovely that looks. And then this is going on with foam tape. And the reason I put the sentiment on first before I put the foam tape on this is because it's easier when you've got a flat edge. So instead of trying to do foam tape on top of foam tape, where you end up with bumps and lumps, if you do it this way, you won't. And I'm not glittering this edge. And the reason I'm not glittering this edge is because I want you to see those lovely stitches. And we've got glitter on the base layer, remember. That's better. So now this can get stuck onto the card. Make sure I'm doing it. Oh, we could have a top fold. Oh, shall we have a top fold for a change? I think we will. So we're having a top fold. And then, as always, a bit of glue for wiggle time. Have a go at this. If you've already got the chalk paints and the flower dyes, etc., have a go at it and show me what you come up with. I'm just going to stand up while I do this because I can't do matting and layering sitting down, not properly. Now you see why I've stood up. And now you see why I've put... There we go. Already that looks really quite classy. Look at that. Oh, I love that. Even if I have got muck on there, I better cover that up with the flourish. Right, so let's see how the flowers are doing. Yep, just about dry. The fern leaves are just about dry. I might not put the butterfly on, but I will show you if I do. I don't know whether we'll need it. Right, so we've got these two flourishes here. And we've got one going that way, one going that way. The one going left, I'm going to save till after. The one going right, I'm going to snip. And this is why, I remember when I designed these, I designed them specifically so that you could snip into them. So you can create lots of different flourishes from these. And I'm just going to shape that up. And I love the little hole detail. So that is going to go there. The sentiment I'm leaving as a plain rectangle piece. I might glitter it, we'll see. And it's going to go there, so I know I need to snip about that much off. And now we can't do anything else until I've got the flowers done. So let's get the flowers done. They are all dry now. I'm going to save this kitchen roll because once it's dried, I can use it again. So I'm not going to spend ages shaping these up. I'm literally just going to roll them over my board. So these are all staying individual flowers. So I'm not doubling up any of these. And this is the thing, when you've got small flowers, you can put a few more on. So I'm literally just going to shape these up. I'm not going to spend ages on it. And I know I'm quick at this because I've done it for years. And then we'll get the gems in. Look how pretty they look. Let me just show you that. I love these shabby daisies, and I promise you that is pistachio underneath, not another. I'm trying to see if, there you go. Aren't they beautiful? The little daisies, it's easy peasy, just roll round. And I love the starflower. I love the combination of starflower and daisy because they're completely different. They're completely different petals, so it's easy to see that you've got two different flowers on there. Look at that lovely orange in the middle. Nearly done, nearly done. And for everybody that follows me, you're going to be in shock that I've done a video in about an hour. I'm not saying under an hour because I'm not finished yet, but we're not far off. Aren't you glad I did all the die cutting beforehand? Right, so the gems I'm using today are, when I was prepping this, I got a few different gems out and pearls, and I opted for the plain ice diamond. So the ice diamond is the multifaceted, let me show you. They're not just normal gems. You know I'm not going to do just normal gems. Ice diamond are the multifaceted. If I say they're like old cut diamonds. So they're round and multifaceted. So they catch the light. They catch the light wherever it is really. So I'm going to put all the gems in. And then we can put this card together. I'm not glittering the flowers because I'm going to glitter the flourishes. And the other good thing about this is the chalk paint won't react to the glue. I think I forgot to shape that one in the middle, but it'll be fine. So I'll use my little pickup tool. Remember, don't push down with your pickup tool, just put the gems in place. And then push them down with your tweezers. this is the faffing stage, which is my favourite. Details. When you're doing smaller, well, any card really, I'm going to retract that. When you're doing any card, my motto has always been, for as long as I've been doing this, if you look after the details, so take care of tiny details like the colour in the centre of the flowers, and then the card looks after itself because you've paid attention to the little details. The overall look will look like you've spent forever on them. So they're all in place except for this one. That was lucky. And then we're just going to push those in with the tweezers. Remember, you can't push in with these because they're wax and it'll break it. So push them in with your tweezers. Oops. Flat nose tweezers, they're in a set. Everybody loves my tweezers. And I love this little star flower. I love the daisy. I love the combination of the two together. I love the pistachio with the custard because it's very soft and gentle. Did I do that one? Yeah. I'm trying not to do the ones that I've already done. That's that one. That one. That one. Nearly done. Details. That's two. I'm not very good at quick demos, but what I am good at is showing you every stage. So pop them there. And we're now going to pop the sentiment on first. So the sentiment is going on first, and I'm now reverting to my glue gel. So glue gel just gives me the opportunity to move things around if I need to. Oops. I always put all my flowers and everything on with glue gel. And it just means you can tuck your, you can lift it up and tuck your foliage and everything underneath. I don't know where that's come from, but it can go on there. Put that in place. And I know I want this just about there. Have a great day. Just make sure it's all straight. It is. And now we're going to come to this flourish, and this flourish is going to have some Diamond Dazzle on it. And I'm not going to cover it with Diamond Dazzle. I'm just going to do bits, because if you cover it, it's very, very blingy. So I might just do the outside. So let's just do the outside. And you'll notice that this flourish has little holes at the end of the curves. And I did that so that you could put pearls and gems and stuff on them. So I think that's enough. Oh yeah, that's lovely. You see what I mean? Look, that's just enough. And then this is going to go on with white glue so that I can stick it in position. So I'm putting the flourish on before I put the first lot of flowers on. Because I know I've just got glue on my finger, so I'll just get that off. I know I want it to come up about there. And now I know where that's going. I'm going to secure the top with a bit of glue as well. Because nobody wants a flappy flourish. So I've curved it, so we've got that lovely shape, but I've secured it at both ends. And now the flowers. Remember, the foliage is going on last, and I'm just going to show you the foliage. I'm just going to show you the foliage because that is not, oh, that's just beautiful. Might not use 4, but I've done 4 just in case. So the flowers are going on first, and I always start with the big one, and the big one is going to go here. And what I'm going to do, just to save a little bit of time, is put the glue gel on the back of all of these, just because it will be, oops, a touch quicker. Oh, I've just popped the gem out of that one. Sorry, Starflower. It might be a it might be a simple card, but that doesn't mean you have to skimp on your flowers. So a little bit of glue gel on each one. It's just easier to do it this way, a bit quicker. I promise you. If you can hear my stomach rumbling, ignore it. It's lunchtime. So I'm just putting a tiny bit of glue gel on, but you can see I'm pulling the cocktail stick up, so that gives me a little bit of a peak, and that gives me enough glue gel to maneuver if I need to lift them up. And you know I like lots of layers on my flowers. I need a bit more on that one. That was a bit skinny, Phil. And the fern leaves are going in last, so I can decide how many we need. And I did cut two flourishes. So I did cut the left and the right facing, but I've not put the right facing one on because I don't actually know whether we need it. One might be enough. I'll put the lid on that. And we're going to start the cascade of flowers. Love it. I love it already. Before I've even put all the flowers on, I love this card. And we've got so many layers of levels of the flowers. That's my stomach. So many layers of the flowers. It's going to look really dimensional. This is why your glue gel is so good for this. Let's have that there. I know that I need a daisy and a star flower for there. And the rest can go wherever I want them now. To go there, and the last one. Oh, choices. Yeah, stick to where you thought originally, Phill. So I've got this lovely little cascade of flowers going up there. We've got the best wishes, which, because I toned it down with the pistachio, ties in with the colour scheme. And now we've got our fern leaves. So the fern leaves are literally going to be tucking anywhere else. So now we're adding some olive green, which just ties the whole thing together. The olive green will tie in with the sentiment. I'm I'm just snipping off the edges of these. This is why I told you right at the beginning why I like the why I did the fern leaves with so much, in 2 sizes with so much snippability. So let's pop 2 of these on first, because I know where I want the first 2. And again, glue gel, no glitter. I'm going to tuck it underneath this daisy. So let me just lift that daisy up. And then pop the daisy back in. Oh, that's just, oh, that's so lovely. I want one down there. Nearly done. Oh, I am 1 hour and 6. But we are almost done. And I'm gonna snip these even more, look. So I'm taking just the very tips. And I might stick to 3. I don't normally worry about this rule of 3, 5 and odd numbers, etc. But let's just see if we need this. It's going under that daisy, so I've got to just poke that daisy up, that's it. And I don't think I need that last one. I'll save it just in case. No, it looks too much. It looks too much. So says Phil. I'm not putting the butterfly on because it's too big, look. So I'm going to leave the butterfly off. And then just to finish off, you know what's coming next. I'm just lifting that up because I think I've squashed it. There you go. So the last thing, oh, that's just so pretty. Look at that card. So the last thing is random gems. I'm going to throw that cocktail stick away because it's got glue on both sides. So I always like a few random gems. Not that many, don't panic. We're going to have a few just random floating around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll just see if there's a gap when I've done that. So back to my pickup tool. That's my stomach. That's hilarious. Honestly, I am a professional. 2. I'm sticking to the 5mm ones as well. I'm not putting the 8mm on. If I can catch them. And then I'll just see if I've got a gap, which I might have down here. I have, so there's going to be one just there. And then we are done. We are done. I'm not doing anything with the best wishes because it's beautiful as it is. And I've got them lovely green teal tones going on. Can anybody see the lid for my glue? I found it. And there we go. So chalk painted florals in 2-tone. Yeah, so we've got 2-tone chalk painted florals. I'm just get the end of my brush. We've got the ocean teal and the perfectly pumpkin. We have the soft pistachio with the custard slice. We've got obviously olive on the ferns. We've got the gems, which are the ice diamond gems. I love this. So we've got best wishes, have a great day. How fabulous does that look together? And this, although it is quite raised because that's my thing, you could absolutely do this a little bit flatter if you wanted. And there you go. So we've completely transformed this. The only colour on this card is created from the chalk paints, and I can't tell you how fabulous they are. So many different ways to use them. If I wanted to, I could add a bit of orange or yellow to the sentiment, but I didn't want to. I wanted to keep it to the two-tone to match the flowers. And there we go. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I've given you a little bit of inspiration with a really pretty card, really simple card, very easy to do. The fun is all in the techniques. All the colour is from the chalk paints. Really, really easy to do. And we've actually made a full card, a stand-up card. So I'll just do a quick recap for you. I'm not going to go through all the dyes and everything that I've used, but I am just going to say there are quick links to everything that I've used today in the description. All the products that I am using are available, assuming they're in stock, on my website, which is honeypotcrafts.co.uk. International customers, you can't order on our website directly, but you can message us privately on the Sentimentally Yours Facebook page and just tell us what you're after and we can sort you out. So please do, if you haven't yet, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you're watching it, I assume you already have, but if you haven't, please do. So you can search for Crafting with Phill Martin and Sentimentally Yours, or just Crafting with Phill Martin. My Facebook group, you are welcome to ask to join, is called the same thing. So just search on Facebook for Crafting with Phill Martin and Sentimentally Yours. Please do like and share the video for me. Yeah. And also, let's do the rest before I go. So Facebook, you can find me here, Sentimentally Yours. Please do give us a follow. You can also find my page, which is Phill Crafty Martin. You can find me on Twitter, if you do use Twitter, which is Phill M Martin. Remember, I have 2 L's. And also on Instagram, Phill M Martin. And then last but not least, TikTok, which I've just started using. So if you search on TikTok for Phill M Martin, you'll find me. So I hope you've enjoyed that and you've learned something a little bit different. And I shall see you next time. So have a go. Please remember to tag me when you do anything, and then I get to see all your lovely creations as well. So thanks everybody. I hope you've enjoyed that. See you in the Facebook group. Bye. Look at that. Boom. 1 hour 13. Shortest demo yet, I think. Thanks everybody. Bye.